Google seems to constantly be trying to make the Pixel a flagship device, and the tech world overall sees this phone as a higher mid-range device, just like what Google did since the Pixel 5. I see this as something like the BMW i8. Sure, it's not the fastest car, not even hitting 400 horsepower, but it still feels like a high-end sports car, almost like a hypercar. That said, the Pixel 9 Pro XL, to me, especially now, feels like that flagship device. Hello everyone, this is Matt from Real World Review, and let's see if you agree that this phone is still worth buying even after the Pixel 10 series came out. I believe for this phone, the specs don't actually matter. This is running the Tensor G4 with 16GB of RAM, 128GB standard, and goes up exponentially to 1TB of storage. We have Android 16 on here, or 6 more years of software updates left, 5G with ultra-wideband support if you got this little antenna right here that the iPhone 17 Pros centered for some reason, Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.3, physical and eSIM support, a not forever IP68 dust and water resistance rating, a kind of heavy 221 gram weight, and a 6.4 inch height. On the front, we have the 6.8-inch Super Actua display, or a 120Hz 1344p flat flexible OLED panel that has a 2000 to 3000 peak brightness, but generally sits at about 1300 in manual brightness, and to this day still feels like the brightest phone that I own, or maybe even the brightest device. There's a little hole punch for the front camera that allows for the higher security face unlock, so you can use this for banking apps, as well as the ultrasonic fingerprint scanner that surprisingly works well, even with the screen protector. This is a super bright and amazing looking screen that I don't really understand why anyone would hate if you do. This has Gorilla Glass Victus 2 as well as on the back, and maybe that's kind of a good thing because I'm yet to see anyone need to fix this glass in real life. The back has a matte finish to it, while the camera island is a matte aluminum with a glass for the cameras and 2 holes for the camera flash and temperature sensor. And yes, they are both very useful and worth it, especially since it takes up almost no space. The sides of the island, though, are glossy aluminum, just like the phone's frame. On the top, we get the ultra-wideband antenna as well as a microphone, the left having nothing, while the right is where the power and volume buttons are. The bottom has a single SIM tray, another microphone hole, the USB-C 3.2 port, and the bottom loudspeaker that pairs with the earpiece to give you a stereo feel. I'm not really a fan of the shiny frame, but not everyone can be great like Samsung. As for the battery, this is a massive but not 5060 mAh cell that will last you all day easily, even now. We get 37 watts of wired charging, which I have seen it go over 35 watts, while wireless is 23 watts, and we still have the reverse wireless charging, which didn't do great charging the Pixel Watch and literally can't charge my Pixel Watch 3. This battery is great. I never really had to worry about the battery life ever, and it's not something that I would really say on any other Pixel, especially one with a bright screen like this. And just like the battery life, the phone's operations are fine as well. Even with gaming, which ironically can't be said about the Pixel 10 series, the phone handles everything you throw at it. On paper, sure, the Snapdragon 8 Elite phones and iPhone 16 and newer are supposed to be better, but again, that's on paper, and when you actually use this phone, there's little to no difference. Even though this is the last Exynos type processor, I truly don't have an issue with this. Throw on Graphene OS and you'll have an extremely smooth experience. Does the phone get warm? Yes. Does the screen dim? Yes, but so does every other phone with fast processors in them. I wouldn't say that this is worse than all the other ones though. I often call phones boring when they're great, and that's exactly what this is. This is not the best, but also it's way higher than a mid-range phone. That said, this is a $1,100 phone even now, but in the used market, now we're talking. I would easily take this over any $600 or lower new phone all day, especially when dealing with the cameras. It's so great to the point that there's 4 cameras on this phone and the smallest megapixel count is 42. The front camera is a 42 megapixel sensor, which seems like the same 103 degree f2.2 sensor on the Pixel 10 Pro XL. This is focusable, which is nice, allowing for 4K video at 60 frames per second, which is also nice to have and looks great. It is strange that it shoots 10 megapixel shots in 5.1 megapixels when shooting RAW. Okay. Then on the back, we have the 48 megapixel focusable ultra-wide camera, allowing for macro shots at 50.1 megapixels or 48.6 megapixels when shooting RAW. We get 4K 60 frames per second video on this sensor max, which is not the highest quality across all of the cameras. This, just like the front camera, cannot use the video boost feature, but you're not really missing much. Then we have the 50 megapixel standard sensor, which is optically stabilized and outstanding. You do get a 2x optical crop, but normal shots are 12.5 megapixels, while there is a 50.1 megapixel option, and yes, the regular and RAW shots are the same megapixel count. This allows for 4K 60 frames per second video, just like the ultra-wide and the front camera, but you can turn on HDR as well as shoot 8K 30 frames per second video with Video Boost on. This means the video is uploaded and then downloaded back onto your phone, and I don't care. I've tried it in the past and it looks okay, maybe better, but come on Google, just do it locally like normal phones. The video is great on here, but still has that pixel look, which I can't really explain, and it's definitely not a compliment. The last sensor is the 48 megapixel 5x telephoto sensor that is optically stabilized and shoots 12.5 megapixel shots and 9.9 megapixel RAW, while the 50 megapixel mode shoots 50.1 megapixels and 39.6 megapixel RAWs. I believe that this and the ultra-wide camera sample from the main camera to get those 50 megapixel files because 48 doesn't equal 50. Just like the main camera, this does the same 4K 60 frames per second HDR and 8K 30 frames per second with Video Boost, but now this is when I let you be the judge. Enjoy. Now I realized that I actually messed up and told you the wrong specs. I told you the ones for the Pixel 10 Pro XL, which is a lie and the truth. Yep, these are identical specs to the most recent Pixel and possibly even the same sensors and tech, just like the laser autofocusing unit. Even more reason to save your money. At the end of the day, it's your money. I got a good deal on this phone, and for $500 and up, this can be yours. Though I would recommend the 256GB version, which those seem to be $600 or more. The Pixel 10 Pro XL is $850 or more in most cases, so definitely go for the 9 Pro XL. Regardless, you want this phone for the Pixel experience, and with Android 16, there's more customization that I've seen people really dial in and make it theirs. Me, I am a boring person, so I keep mine how I do on pretty much all my other phones, but personally, I like this design. After this, I went to the iPhone with iOS 26, and man, I really hope no one copies that. Sure, we'll get used to it, but Liquid Glass is miserable. Great name, miserable experience. Material 3 expressive. Terrible name, amazing experience. You get all the Google AI features that everyone talks about, but honestly, I never really use them. And a lot of those features are already on older Pixels, so some aren't even exclusive to this phone. They advertise Gemini like it's made for the Pixel. I saw this on someone's Samsung S8 the other day. So stop advertising Gemini as if you can't get it running on a potato. 7 years of software updates on both phones, so the 9 will be 1 year behind the 10 series, but at least right now, that might not always be the case. When checking XDA developers, there's no ROMs for the 10 Pro. Checking for the 9 Pro, there's multiple ROMs out there, leading me to believe that this might be the future. Even when you check Graphene OS's site, it only shows the Pixel 9 series, when this should already be on the 10 series. Google is making it harder to do, not to mention the different processor, and all more reason to go with the Pixel 9 series simply for usability. 7 years is a lot of updates, but having the option for longer support is best in my eyes. You get a slightly larger but not better battery, lose the SIM tray, and get a heavier phone when you switch to the 10 Pro XL, just so you can get a slightly faster processor with way worse graphic performance? Nice. At the end of the day, I still think the Pixel Fold is the best Pixel that I have. Just like the 9 Pro XL, it's fast enough, cameras are great, battery life is good, and obviously the 9 series is better, but the funny thing is this thing isn't tall, still being the shortest Pixel ever. It's definitely the heaviest, but opens to as thin as the Samsung S25 Edge. But for those that want a bigger screen and best overall experience, then the Pixel 9 Pro XL is perfect when used. For me, I'm no longer a fan of big phones, but I do have to suffer so I can give you guys these videos. And that's my review of the Pixel 9 Pro XL, still the best big Pixel. But what do you think? Let me know, and as always, thanks for being a part of the 1%, and thanks for watching.